think about justice? What you know about love? Why all the segregation, all our but foundation? Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Tell me what you know about love. Tell me what you know about hate that keeps us separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all.
For our program Policing With You, our second program for the year 2021. And in the studio with me, I have Inspector Alec Edwards. He's going to be the host of the program. I'm the moderator. We're going to take a break. It's sponsored by National Bank. And when we return, we'll introduce the power team, according to Inspector Francis, here in the studio.
Free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
Good morning, GQ. Good morning to those of you listening via radio and or the internet. I am Alric Edwards, Inspector of Police, and the host for today's program, Policing With You. This morning I have the privilege to introduce one of my co-hosts who is filling in today as my guest host, Detective Inspector James Francis. He is the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, CRO, and LIO. He is accompanied by Detective Sergeant Valon Hodge and Detective Corporal Angel Baptiste. Please introduce yourself to listening orders, starting from the senior to the most junior. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Inspector Edwards. It's a privilege for me to be here on the program again, but I'm on the other side this time. I'm here with my power team from Sadie, the SPOs, senior police officers who assist with the investigations, and I have other officers in the background who are not on camera, who also assist with the investigations at Sadie. We are very hard-working officers, and all the other departments in the police force is hard-working as well. Now, that's me. I'll now turn over to the others.
Good morning to all those policing with you listeners. I am number 609, Detective Sergeant Hodge.
Good morning. I am Detective Corporal Andrea Baptiste of the Criminal Investigations Department.
Thank you, guys, for your sharp introduction. This morning topics are malicious damage and larceny. The show will take its normal format, introduction, where we just had the question and answer segment, then closing segment. The Commissioner of Police has stressed the importance of public being aware of the petty crimes and crime of intent. So that's the reason for this morning's topics. I'll now pose a question to you guys, and you'll choose who will answer or attempt to answer.
They know who's going to answer, man.
Right.
They're already prepared.
What is malicious damage?
Before you go on to answer the questions, what I would like to say, though, is that based on what we are talking about today, we're talking about petty crimes. The Criminal Investigation Department do not investigate petty crimes. We assist with investigation. We investigate more serious crimes. However, the representative of the department which investigate those crimes that are unable to be here. That's why we are sitting in to assist.
Okay.
What I'm saying? So that's why I'm explaining.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily investigate those, but we are always willing and ready to assist. Yes.
Beautiful.
Malicious damage.
Malicious damage is intentionally causing damage to property.
Thank you, Corporal Baptiste.
Well, I guess that was straightforward.
Yeah.
So for the layman who is listening, once you intentionally damage any property at all, that's malicious
damage. Right.
Yeah.
What I'll do then, I will alternate questions from malicious damage topic and then larceny topic and then malicious damage. If that's okay with you guys?
You're the moderator, it's up to you.
Right, thank you. What is larceny?
Larceny is stealing any thing of valuable security, basically thieving.
How is this type of damage proven under the law?
Damage last year.
Well, remember, as I said, we do malicious damage last night.
I think we should do just do one.
Okay, okay. Let me do.
More smoother.
Let me do malicious damage first, then go to last night afterwards. Because I don't want not tying up. So, malicious damage. We are stick with malicious damage for the time, and then go to last night. How is this type of damage proven under the law?
It's proven under law based on investigation, statement taken, and the investigator must follow the evidence.
How serious of an offense is it to cause malicious damage to someone's property?
In fact, it's a very serious offense. In terms of malicious damage, it makes up 50% of our crime statistics. And it's also triable by a magistrate based on the severity or the amount. It could also be tried at a high court where the value exceed like 20,000.
Okay, to assist some more with what the sergeant said, the malicious damage and these petty larcenies and small offenses, they, as he said, they make up over 50% of the crime statistics that generate within the Federation. That is one of the reasons why the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Brandy, is so interested in letting the general public know that these petty crimes are the most crimes that come to the police and we have to deal with. So it's very important for the general public to understand that and govern themselves accordingly to make them harden their targets from making themselves vulnerable to these things happening. So that is the reason why we're here.
What are some of the examples of malicious damage?
Some of the examples of malicious damage are, for instance, you may leave a purse, a laptop on your car seat, and in order for somebody to get to them, they smash your windscreen. That's malicious damage. And somebody trying to break into your house, maybe they might not get in, but maybe just using a crowbar and damaging the door. That is malicious damage. And somebody cut your mesh wire to your window, the screens, that is malicious damage.
Thank you, Corporal Baptiste.
So basically, if you have something there, in its good state, and somebody decide to bam, mash it up, smash it up, crack it up,
Your phone.
Your phone in your good state, they take it and slam it and they go malicious damage.
Any property.
Any property is maliciously cause damage to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Inspector Francis.
Yes, no problem.
For the addition. What can person do to protect themselves from the threat of malicious damage?
Okay, I will chime in here. Basically, malicious damage and other offenses, petty offenses that we are discussing here. What can persons do? Firstly, individuals need to be aware of what is going on. Be aware. Some individual would say, I know nobody nothing, so nobody gonna do me nothing. Yeah, that's not how life really is. The reality is, and I've said it before, bad things happen to good people. That's the sad thing about it. So what we first have to do is be aware that something can happen if you drop your guard. So a lot of us have access to or have vehicles, but we are kind of like nonchalant and don't really pay attention to the fact that you have your nice expensive phone, your laptop, your Kindle, your Amazon, this and that. You're different, likely to do the same thing. So individuals need to understand that, put away these items from the viewing public, because some criminals are, some crimes are crimes of opportunity. Not necessarily somebody's going to break your car, but because they're walking on the road and they see the opportunity, something just rise up in them and say, well, let's smash that and take it. So in a matter of seconds, your window smash and your property gone. So people need to be aware, harden their targets, put away these items of valuable from the viewing public and things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I usually tell persons, right? Well, in university, my professor used to reiterate that crime is crime. Crime a petty crime is when desperation meets opportunity. So you always try and minimize the opportunity. If you're walking, for example, if you have your phone and you're walking, you need to at least rotate to make sure things happening. Suppose you run and pull your phone. Don't call it simple things, simple things. Because a person find it, I got the opportunity to do that, I'll do that. Yeah, so let's continue. Is arson a part of malicious damage?
Well, under our law really doesn't speak of arson. However, when we speak of arson in a malicious damage sense, we are looking at those malicious damage that are felonies and sometimes misdemeanors. For example, the Malicious Damage Act is Chapter 5.10, and the Small Charges Act also speak about simple, those petty malicious damage, Section 33 of that chapter. However, setting fire to a church, setting fire to a building, setting fire to farmhouse, and things of those sort are considered as felonies under the Malicious Damage Act, and they are punishable up to 10 years with or without hard labor. And in some sense, when you set fire to valuables in a building, in that sense, it's a misdemeanor where it is punishable up to 2 years with or without hard labor.
Thank you.
So to really answer your question, arson is malicious damage. But malicious damage by setting fire. But we, by law, we don't call it arson, but the layman term is arson. Everybody know it as arson.
Yeah.
But really and truly, if you're going to charge somebody for it, it's malicious damage by setting fire. So they're married. They're one another the same.
Yeah. Thank you for the addition.
Yes, sir.
Inspector Francis, thank you for your answer, Sergeant Hodge. Let us now break at this juncture for both of our sponsors. Upon our return, we'll open the lines for call-ins and we'll turn to larceny, questions on larceny. Thank you for listening.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch your home mortgage? Our in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
Ease the squeeze with Digicel. Win $1,000 in groceries monthly. Get your chance when you activate any Digicel Prime bundle, pay your bill in full, sign up for a new postpaid or home entertainment package, or simply just join the Digicel family. It's that simple. Be one of 4 lucky winners selected every month from January to March to participate in our Ease the Squeeze shopping sweepstakes. Digicel gives you more so you can ease the squeeze. Digicel, better together.
There's nothing good about jail. I don't want to be here.
My father told me that as far as he was concerned, I could stay in the home forever.
Our children deserve a chance for change. Children make mistakes, and child justice reform can help everyone to address these mistakes appropriately. Instead of sending a child to adult prison, let us give them alternative sentencing. We must divert our children from the court system through a holistic and systematic approach to addressing their offense and their road to rehabilitation. Rehabilitation helps child offenders to grow, change, learn from mistakes, accept responsibility, and make better choices. Reintegration of child offenders into the community after rehabilitation benefits the child, the family, and the community with a more productive citizen. Join the movement to give our children a chance for change. This message is brought to you by the USAID OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project 2, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to oecs.org/JJRP.
Thank you, GQ. Thank you, listening audience. Before we went on our little break, we were on malicious damage, and I said that we will start touching the questions on larceny. We would have already covered the definition for larceny, and Corporal Batty's already defined larceny, as she said, is simply stealing. So we'll now touch on question number 2, which is, are there different types of larceny?
Yes, there are different types of larceny. There are predial larceny. That is, if somebody have something planted in the yard and you thief it, that's predial larceny. That's stealing fruits and those things. And you have larceny by servant. That is basically somebody employed, like a cashier, employed in in a capacity of a clerk or servant, steals anything. Before you put the money in the cash, and then you take it out. Those things. That is larceny by servant. You have simple larceny. Basically, you steal somebody's phone, simple things, and you have larceny from a dwelling house. That is basically, you don't have to, somebody leave the house open, the door open, and you go inside and you steal something. That's larceny from a dwelling house. It's different to a break-in, a house break-in. If it's break-in is, you have to do some kind of break-in in order to get in. But leave the door open and you go in, that's his larceny by dwelling house.
To add, we have larceny that is indictable. We have indictable larceny also, where we find that persons who steal in excess of $20,000, it's an indictable matter. It is triable by a high court.
Thank you, Corporal Baptiste, for your answer.
No, Inspector, before we go on, I don't want the general public to feel it. We have exhausted the list. Larceny is such a big umbrella. They got a lot of different type of larceny.
You have larceny by finding.
Yeah. Larceny by trick. Yeah. You know, embezzlement, farm falls under larceny. So larceny is such a wide scope. But it's just that, you know, we only want to mention a few.
The recognized, the ones that are common.
And for the purpose of this program, we just mainly focusing on the small larceny, which, as we said earlier, is prevalent. It's happening all the time.
All right, we have...
Right, and the person went to the police.
Find out who the senior officer is and you make a report. Because we are a professional organization and we are delivering a service to the public, and it have to be of a professional level. That's the first thing I would like to say. Secondly, if somebody is calling your phone, that is harassment. That is annoyance. And it forms part and parcel of an offense under the law. And the police is bound to assist you.
Yeah, true.
Rather than just sending you away.
True.
So we're not only just looking at the stealing and just the malicious damage and those kind of crimes. Crime starts small and then it gets big. So if the person is eventually calling you and annoying you and harassing you, you know, that could lead up to stalking. And that could lead up to something else that we don't want to mention here. You know, it could be kidnapping and those kind of things. So the whole point is, if you come to the police and make a report, be it male or female, I've had reports from males who come to the police and make a report. Some people see it laughable, but the woman, the girlfriend, the wife, beating them. And they generally want some assistance, some police to put in a plug and talk. But I've heard that police officers would laugh. No, these are serious things. When people come to the police, they come for assistance. So if you come to the police and police is laughing, make a report. We have internal affairs that will investigate that matter.
Get the number.
So yes, that's what I was just about to talk about.
Get the number.
Every police wear a number, and if you don't wear a number,
badge number.
Your badge number. Mr. Vallan Hodge just spoke about 609, so he has a number. But our police wears a number. So just get the number and then you report them to OPS, Office of Professional Standards, Internal Affairs, and they will investigate the matter. So that's something that we will want person to be aware of. Yes.
So her matter is a crime then?
Of course.
It's a crime.
Annoyance.
It's harassment.
Minor offense.
It's a minor offense, but it's a crime. It's a crime.
All right, let's take another call. Good morning. You are live.
Hi, good morning, GQ, and to the officers there.
Good morning, ma'am.
Wonderful program. I'm almost 100, and I didn't realize that larceny had such a wide umbrella. Knowledge is really power. Thanks.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution.
You're welcome.
Not only a wide umbrella, but from what I'm gathering this morning, each aspect of it is charged differently as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Different section of the law.
Okay.
On the Larceny Act. Right. What can person do to protect themselves from being from becoming targets of larceny?
Well, persons can simply secure their property properly. They can, if you're going to the machine, the bank machine, you have to look and make sure that, you know, the area is well lit, and also look at your surrounding areas to see the kind of persons in that area. Also, when you're traveling, you know, don't travel with large sums of cash. You travel with the amount of cash you need, or and the amount of cards you need for whatever purpose.
Right.
I will know.
Okay, you can lock your vehicle and put up your windows, but even while you're driving, have your keys in hand while approaching your vehicle. Because persons will find that opportunity to, maybe while you're looking for your bag, they snatch it. Because you don't know who is around and those kind of things.
It's about being aware, generally about being aware. For instance, when you're parking up your vehicle, you know, in the night and so on, so to go somewhere, you know. I've had a friend, to be quite honest, I've had a friend who say, man, depending on where I'm going here, I look for the government camera and I park close to the camera. You know what I mean? So, you know, just being aware that something is likely to happen or something could happen. So, you know, I mean, telling the general public must do that now, but I'm just saying that is what, that the approach he takes. So it's about being aware and trying to not make yourself a target. Yeah.
You could always park in a well-lit area too.
That's
not dark areas, if you could avoid it.
Just to piggyback on what Sergeant Hodge would have said about the ATM machine and with Charles, some person are naive enough to check their money on the outside of the teller booth. So they will withdraw, they'll come outside with the money, start checking. That is being naivety. Check your money on the inside, fold your money properly, put it away, and then you exit. Because a person cannot enter unless they have a national, for example, National Bank. You can enter National Bank booth, teller booth, unless you have a card. So then you're sort of protected, because a man can rob you with a card. But you're sort of protected because he cannot enter unless he has access or a card. So there is simple things. Right. And we need to stop believe that, as Inspector Francis said, I don't nobody nothing, somebody do me nothing. We got to stop think that way, because people do things if they find the opportunity to do the things. So man, if even up to jewelry, a man will say, you ain't the best jewelry. Well, I can take that from him. I'm just waiting the perfect time when it's dark and the person will do what they have to do. Yeah, so you need to protect yourself, make yourself a harder target. Right, thank you.
Very good, that's true.
Just to let the public know, the lines are open, 465-2555, that's 2555. And for those of you overseas, 718-577, 2916.
What charges can persons face for larceny?
Well, I realize they say that, so I would chime in a bit. Well, I would say that, as we said earlier, there are different types of larceny, some serious, more serious than others, and there are different penalties for these offenses. For instance, larceny by a servant, not exceeding 7 years. So if you're found guilty, the magistrate, judge or magistrate can fine you anything from money to not exceeding 7 years. We're talking about pre-day larceny, not exceeding 12 months. You could be fined at least up to $2,500 or not exceeding 12 months hard labor in prison. So we have different penalties for different offenses. Larceny in the dwelling house, you can be sentenced to anything from 1 year, a couple months to not exceeding 10 years. So we're talking about different mitigating circumstances if you plead guilty, things of that nature. So you have different penalties for these different offenses under the larceny act.
All right, before you continue, we have a caller here on hold. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning. This is Dumpling speaking. I have a problem with some of them police. The police just come on the radio and say, if you see something, say something. But when you try to see something and you stop them when they're in the policeman, they're telling you, call on the station or go on the station. And I don't like that, because the West Police, them, long-time police, when somebody give them information, they take it and then they trail down where the person's gone, where you say the person gone. But them there's no one who driving up the police car them like is the family one. They have no respect, especially them who just start and then say the whole. When I see something, say something. And I think that was embarrassed. They embarrassed me. And I like it at all. So when something great now with one oil and support idea, I ain't gonna say nothing. Don't care why you call and say that Dumpling was your man and say nothing. Because the smaller man done embarrass me. That's why I have to say, this is Dumpling.
Thank you, Dumpling, for your contribution.
Anyone of you guys want to say something? I want to say something. What I would like to say is that it is a sad situation with Dumpling. And Dumpling always mentions his name. This is Dumpling. Dumpling has been around for a while. I have utmost respect for Dumpling. She's one of the persons when I was a young constable I knew when doing some patrols in McKnight. And she is correct. She's not wrong. She's correct. When you flag down a police officer, they are duty bound to stop and listen. We just embarked in 2020 and we spoke strongly about community policing. And that is an umbrella of community policing, an arm of community policing. These officers in the Federation, we go to training at training school and we teach them those things. But for some reason, you know, the commissioner have spoken to officers about driving around with the windows up and AC on, things of that nature. Windows supposed to be down to be able to reach out to the public, so the public will reach out to you. So you can make a report by calling on the phone. You can make a report to the police by going in person. You can make a report to the police by flagging them down. They are duty bound to take your information and then channel it to the relevant source, wherever it needs to be. Your information, your number, and so on, and have people get back to you. You know, as I said earlier, this is a professional organization that we have in this island. And we are bound to keep it that way and go from strength to strength. So what I would say to Dumpling is, do not be discouraged, Dumpling. Do not be discouraged. And I would say to other listeners, do not be discouraged. However, when we see any officer slacking, make a report. Because in every organization, because we don't want to be on the program and people calling and feel like it's only police officers have one or two slack persons among their ranks. Predominantly, we are good police officers, and a large percentage, more than 75% officers, do their best when they go to work. But there are one or two bad eggs, and it happens in other organizations too. So the police is not alone in this fight. But we want you, the general public, to know when you see something, you ought to know for a fact, this is not how it's supposed to be. Let me find out who the senior officer is. And let me make a report. What's your force number? Because you're not supposed to be operating like this. Straight up. Because the general public know the kind of level of service they should be receiving from the police.
True.
So do not be discouraged. Just know that you are deserving of a certain level of service. And when you do not get it, make a report.
All right, we got some more calls.
Yes.
Sure. Yes, sir.
All right, good morning, you are live. Okay, let's try another call. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, and good morning, my superiors. This is PWOP, Police Without Pay. Now I call just about Dumpling because I experienced that same situation. Now, a police like you all, who has number, you cannot be here, there, and everywhere, like we who do not have numbers. But we are police, we are good citizens. When you see something, say something. And I have been doing that, but 3 weeks ago, I see something waiting to happen. And the result of what would have happened would have ended up in one of them funeral homes and the cemetery. And I call a police station. And the police who answer, I explain everything to the police, tell the police where and what is going on. And it is what you call law breaking, and death could be the result. Here the police, he can't do nothing about it. I said, man, What do you mean you can't do nothing about it? He said, suppose I come there and I see nothing. I said, well, what do word investigation mean? You can't just come and if you ain't see nothing, you turn off. You talk to who call you. And then they will explain to you what took place. And then you take your lead from there. So officers, I agree with you. You got a lot of police don't act like police. And through them there now with a bad action, they're going to cause other innocent police to get blamed. But we should not blame all the police. Just single out those who neglect their duty and report them. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for listening. Have a good day.
Thank you, Carla, for your contribution. I too want to say that all police officers must ensure that the general public is assured that remedying action is going to be taken when it comes to any crime reported to them by the general public. They should. And as Inspector Francis rightly said, once the general public is, or when the general public sees somebody or some officer that is slacking or neglecting his duty, should be reported, and we will do something about it. The senior ranks will do something about it. We will, if it's a situation where it's a person in, for example, my department, I have my own way of disciplining my officers. I will take the time, because constables love time. They love time, so I will take with the rest there. I will give them extra duties, extra duties, and that is why we are dealing with things. However, you can go to OPS, the same Officer Professional Standard, and they will be dealt with according to the system. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that. Do you have a caller? Yeah. Caller listening?
All right, let's take our first one. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, I'm here in New York City listening to your conversation, and I am concerned. I'm an Antiguan living in New York, and I'm listening. I listen to your station all the time. I'm hearing that there's a situation with quarantining people, and my question is, when you quarantine someone, don't you have to get all the information, who the people that you quarantine, their name, where you quarantine them at, what location? And in case that person happens to leave that location, don't you have the right to know who that people or that person should be and where you could find them? Because I think this is a small place, 68 square mile, I believe. The population is not all that large. Why is it a hard time to find someone in St. Kitts if they happen to be let go without being really checked to see if they are okay before you can let them go? I'd like to hear from you.
All right, thank you for your call and your question.
Next, what we'll do, we'll write down what we have to answer. And so we take all the callers, and then we will try and attempt to answer the questions.
Okay, well, thank you for your call. Let's try this next one. Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Morning.
Yes, morning.
And to your guest, this thing about this is something. Say something. I don't get a comfort with that at all. You hear what I truly just.
You did, Chukai? I seem to have lost him. Good morning, Dumpling.
Dumpling, I said. I even tell the police like this. I had it like what you want. I said, oh, is the ASP, you know? I said, ASP in my clothes. Don't play to you.
Right, thank you, caller, again for your contribution. Francis, you want to touch quarantine?
No more calls?
Yeah, let us take the calls.
Hey, good morning, you live.
You can have just now.
Yeah, boy, I'm trying to figure it out myself. But go ahead, continue.
Anyway, what I was saying, I called the police station to make the report of female officer answer. For some reason, the call drop out. Something happened in front of my eyes, you know. I called back. As soon as I called back, give me like she was waiting on me. She gonna tell me come station. So why would I be going station for? When the act doesn't happen. This say something, I don't believe in it. I don't get no comfort in it at all. It don't make sense. You call the station, they tell you come station. What the hell they tell you call for them? It makes sense you call? I don't get me, I nearly get me dead. 2 years ago, They're supposed to investigate the matter 2 years ago. I could have dead and gone. And every time I get on this kind of program here, I don't listen after it. I will start it. I could have dead and gone and nothing done. I could imagine the amount of mother gone and so. Thanks, you.
All right, Chukai. Let's take this next call. And keep in mind, Chukai, and to the rest of callers, they will answer you. We're just taking our final calls, and then they're going to answer everything. So, good morning. You're live.
Hi, good morning. I just want to speak on how corrupt the system is. I personally know someone who got devices taken into police custody for evidence. Now, none of their devices work. Now it's given back to them. And in professional standards, they're going to tell that person that no one touched their devices, but they were arrested for crimes, charged for crimes, taken to court for that crime. So why is it that the police have to be so corrupt? It's ridiculous. They lie, they tell you both-faced lies, they tell lies on everything, and they're just trying to cover themselves. Like, it's sickening, it's atrocious. Someone needs to do something.
Hold on there, caller. Hold on. The inspector is asking you a question. Can you listen for the question, please? Hold on.
Yeah, the question I'm asking is that I understand the caller is just making blatant statements, but is she speaking to a particular issue? She says she know of someone, but is she speaking to a particular issue?
Go ahead, caller.
Caller, we listening.
Are you there still? All right, we seem to.
I've lost that caller.
Yeah.
She might call back.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody else?
No, that's it for now. That's it for now.
Do you want to attempt the quarantine?
Well, with reference to the quarantine issue, I don't know if that caller who is from Antigua but living in New York, if he's speaking to something that happened recently. I could only assume, but he did not say. But with reference to the quarantine issue, we think it has been said and known that throughout the world, saying it's at the moment, with reference to quarantine is one of the safest places to be. And this is reason. This is said because we have one of the lowest lowest individuals who have been said that they have COVID-19, and because we have been putting stringent measures in place to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So, if one incident happened, can't be done saying this. If one incident is one incident too many. However, we are trying our best. We have the COVID-19 team, we have different measures in place, but we are dealing with human beings. And one or two times there's a lapse in error. One or two errors happen. But saying it is small, as the individual indicate, and that error was followed up on very, very quickly. So I'm not certain if that is what he's talking about. I'm not the appropriate person to respond to that question, but based on my knowledge about that last incident, it was followed up on quickly, and all the persons with reference to the contact tracing, they are now in quarantine to prevent community spread.
Now, before you continue, you finish answering that question, right?
Yes.
Can you put on your headphones, please? I want you to interact with this caller properly. She's back, so at least you can engage her in. You
are live?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You're live. Go ahead. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, the phone got disconnected.
Yes, please. Yes, what I was asking, I'm Inspector Francis in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department. I understand you're calling in, and it appears that you have a burning desire to unburden yourself with certain things. But I was asking if you were speaking to a particular issue. When you indicate that police officers are corrupt and this and that.
This is an ongoing issue.
Have you made a report to any senior officers?
I'm not sure what the person did, but it's an issue where they keep lying, saying that they didn't touch the first person's devices. They were arrested and charged for that crime. The person was beaten in police custody by an officer, Officer Howe. You know, this is outrageous, and nobody doing anything about these corrupt officers. Nobody doing anything. You make a report, they tell you they're going to follow up, no calls, nothing. The work is sloppy, very sloppy. They lie about everything. Like, how do we get justice when the police only care about themselves? How?
I'll answer offline.
All right. Thank you for your question. And thank you for calling back too.
On the issue where Chukai called in, anybody want to attempt that? Chukai said says something, and he has an issue where I think somebody tire line crossed the road, I think, and he was driving his bike and he almost lost his life. He got hung as well, his neck was cut. I share your pain, Chukai. What you probably can do is take the number of a senior officer, and if you see something, you call that senior officer directly, and he will try and remedy that situation speedily. My number is 6614353. I am Inspector Edwards. I am in charge of the Special Services Unit. Well, the 2IC of the Special Services Unit. The person who is in charge of the Special Services Unit is Superintendent Travis Rogers. So you can call me if you see something. You can call me directly, and I will send my guys to remedy the situation. Inspector Francis touched on the co-op system, and he will touch on the where the person said that the system is corrupted. But that's basically it. We are closing.
To respond to that last caller. That last caller called in and said certain things. Now, what I would say from a police perspective is that whatever ills in the organization come to the attention of the high command, senior officers, we deal with it. Now, the general public need to understand what service they should be having. They should have. Once you understand what service you should have, it's just like you're going to a business place, you're going to a bank, and you understand how the teller is supposed to greet you, and the teller respond a particular way. You know you can get some recourse by asking for the senior officer who is there. It's so too with the police organization. So to accept one young officer who went through training but may choose to do something on his or her own terms and then blame the entire organization when we, the general public, know that we can get some recourse. It's giving some disservice to the force. What have happened, serious matters that come to the attention of the hierarchy in the past and even present. There are investigations ongoing, and an investigation was conducted and several officers were arrested in the past for different offenses that came to the attention of the High Command. So the High Command do not hide anything. The police organization, the police force, and the High Command do not hide anything that come to the attention. So we are telling the general public, if you see something, say something. But if you say to a particular officer and they are saying something that you know is not right, man, call and ask for a senior officer. Because every station have a senior police officer who is in charge of that station. Find out who that senior police officer is and speak to them. They are not, and if you're not getting a proper service from them, you can ask for who in charge of them too. Everybody is in charge of, have somebody who's in charge of them.
Beautiful.
So I don't want persons to take away from this program to be discouraged. The police force is here to protect and serve you. Yes. And we are on a community policing drive where we're working together with the community. And it has been working. It has been working. It has been proven and it has been working. So all the 1 or 2 persons may call in with a little issue here or there. I'm encouraging them to report it to the relevant persons. And I know if the individuals would call in, there's a lot more persons who are satisfied with the police service, but they're not calling in. But we understand. But the 1 or 2 persons who are not satisfied, we're glad for the calls. So call in and let us know what the problem is. Report it to the supervisors, senior officers, and we will try and remedy the situation.
Thank you, Inspector Francis. I too want to say that, as Mr. Francis said, every boss has a boss, and everyone can be disciplined. Even the commissioner of police has a boss, and he can be disciplined. So I'm saying, if you see something, say something. Don't allow a person to give you a disservice and then say, well, the whole police force is this way. Because, as Inspector Francis said, and he correctly said, more than 70% of the police force does do the work. So I want to say anything in closing for you guys before I close?
Well, in relation to some of the callers, I was saying that if you call and somebody give you some forward chat, you could find out exactly where you know where you call and make a complaint, and you could give them the timings, because everybody governed by a duty book, and they will check and they will find out who the officer is. And if somebody, in relation to dumpling, if the police have, even the drove off in the vehicle have a number, and each station or department, a vehicle is attached to that department. So, and as long as they get the timings, they will know who was the driver on that shift, so they'll be able to track the person. So you need to make a report.
Beautiful.
And they will be dealt with.
They will be dealt with. Right. Anything from you?
Well, I just want to reinforce, if you see something, say something. It's important that we all work together so that we could have a safe community. Because when you really look at it, police cannot do it alone, because police cannot be everywhere. But persons living in the community, they can be at different places at different time. And if you see something, you could report it so that police could deal with it swiftly. And I believe that once we do these things, we can foster a better relationship between police and the community, so that we could have a better place to live in, so that you could take a walk without feeling frightened, without feeling that you have to look over your shoulders, because you know that your community is safe. So we have to just work together for the greater good of our country.
Thank you, Sergeant Hodge.
In closing, for me briefly, I want to thank the callers for calling in. The ones that call in with the critiques and the ones that call in to support the police. We're here to serve the general public. And whatever problems we have, tell us. We'll fix it. Because our officers went to training, and if we have to retrain them, we will do that. Because we have to provide a proper service to the general public. That's it for me.
Right, thank you. GQ, thank you for being here. Thank you for being the reliable moderator that you always have been. I want to thank my host, my guest host this morning. I know they are very busy. They're from the Criminal Investigation Department, and that department is a very, 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 very busy department. I want to thank the management and staff of ZIZ for having us weekly. This show is a very important show, and it is needed. I want to thank the person who have called in for their contribution. Without them, this show is pointless. They need to call in. For the person who are thinking about calling in, I want to encourage you. You need to call in and voice your opinion on certain situations and law and things that may have happened to you. I want to thank everybody and thank Miss Kimberly Grant for being there every show. Thank you all, and see you again next week, Thursday.
You wish that day would come when there'll be equal rights and justice for every man.
FarmCare carries the very best in branded and generic products. To take care of the newest addition to the family, we have